This is my third time starting this. This will be my last time starting this because it's not that deep. It's not that serious. And this is literally something for me to go back on. This is not something where I have to be hyper-focused, nor am I even hyper-focused on what this is about and how this will reach people. Not to say that I don't care how it'll reach people, but I'm not performing. So I'm a little bit more relaxed now. I wanted to talk about strangers. But not strangers. I want to talk about the stranger within yourself. Like that person that you know is there, but you low-key have them. Not even low-key. You probably high-key have them sitting in a cage, and they're just restless, and they're living through time and watching through the eyes of somebody that's not even living for real. I'm not talking about strangers. I'm talking about you. And if I'm talking about myself, then I'm talking about me. Which I'm doing both. I flip-flop between that a lot. I flip-flop between you and me a lot. Whether it be in my writing or the way in which I talk to myself about things. That's just what I do. But I wanted to talk about that because I've been thinking about how I approach strangers. Not to say that I approach strangers, but, you know, you go out into the world and you meet different people. I would say I go out into the world and I listen to different people. I don't have to be the listener, but thinking about what's often been my role, or the role in which I take and hold on to because it's so close and dear to me, and it's so comfortable to listen to people. I listen to strangers. But I don't really listen. Not even really. I don't listen to the stranger in me. Well, I haven't. That's really why I want to talk about this, because I have been. And that stranger is not really a stranger. Just like strangers that you meet out in the open world, they aren't really strange. They're unknown, but they're not, I wouldn't call them strange. It's often that what is this? I swear, bugs. Me and bugs have been getting real close. I was going to say, or I was saying, you don't necessarily find strangers strange, and you often find that strangers are people that you have a lot in common with, which is something that we do automatically. We find the similarities, we find ways in which we relate to people. We find or we see ourselves in the strangers that we meet. Relatability, a comfort, a sensing of, a sense that you have felt how I felt, or you've experienced something that I can know that my translation meets your translation of whatever you've gone through. To an extent, of course. That's what happens with strangers. The stranger in yourself. That statement in itself, in a sense, is you saying there's strangeness about the various parts of yourself. The reason why I'm saying I don't want to be a stranger is because I don't want to not know. Or I'm sick of not knowing. Or I'm uncomfortable, actually. I'm uncomfortable with not knowing all there is to me. And in that same breath, I'm uncomfortable with knowing, because I find that my challenge is getting over the hoop of knowing that I have a me within the me, within the me, within the me that I don't tap into. It's sad to think about the loss. It's actually quite devastating to think about that loss. When you're a stranger to yourself, the days continue. Time does not stop for you. And you continue being whoever it is that you claim to be, or that you're comfortable with being, until you realize, or until something happens and it triggers this confused or lost still state of being. And now you're like, reroute. Siri just tried to take me somewhere, and that was not the place that I needed to be. That's where I'm at. And I figure that a lot of people get there at some point in time in life. I could say that I'm meeting the stranger within myself, and I can also say I'm just meeting myself. Just like I could also say, and I would probably conclude with saying, I'm welcoming myself. The stranger is suppressed. The stranger could be the shadow. I would say my stranger is my shadow. I would say that my stranger was suppressed. I would say that I was depressed. Okay, we rhyming. No, but for real though, I would say these things and they were true. Just like many other things are true. Am I accepting the stranger? It's probably best that I don't call them a stranger, but for this video, for the sake of this video, I think it's a nice title. Plus, I've already explained what I mean by it. I wouldn't want to count myself out again with a statement like that. Although, yes, it is to just explain what I mean by it. So who who in this, with whoever sees this, if anybody sees this, it really does not matter. And it's not to say that people don't matter, but it doesn't matter any other way. But if you do end up seeing this, have you been a stranger to yourself? And why? That's another thing. In my case, I know why. I know a lot of things, and I also don't know shit. So, that's fun. It's really fun. I feel like we often know why we're doing the things that we're doing. But also, with my own experience, I find that I've been very disconnected from my body. So, my mind knows why. My mind may understand something. My mind might be aware of things, but I'm not really sitting in my body with the things that I'm aware of, nor am I really acknowledging my body at all. My mind gets too much play. Like, way too much play. Way too much control. Which ends up making me out, or I just succumb to trying to latch on to things and hold on to things because it's my sense of control. And what's my sense of control? Or what am I sensing control for? What am I holding on to something for? I want to be comfortable. But the problem is I'm uncomfortable. Why is that? Because it's like I have this being in me that's truly a part of me. I don't want to ostracize my being, a part of my being, but it is to say that I have. It is to acknowledge that I have. Do I want to do that? No. But fuck, does it take time to stop doing that? It takes a lot more time than what I would like. I would have liked to have known all the things that I knew and been able to get the ball rolling, get some motion, start some things for myself, do some things for myself. Why I didn't do that? I don't think I put a lot of focus on my body, my feelings. Although I'm coming into a knowing, me personally, I'm coming into a knowing of what it is that I feel, why I feel, allowing to feel. And I think for some months, for like the first half of the year, maybe even a little bit before the half of the year, I wasn't really in there. Like, I was becoming aware that I was feeling. Becoming aware that you're feeling after not feeling for so long, it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time. So now, sorry, I got a text. So, it's been an interesting process for me because I've come to know, okay, I'm feeling. Now, how the hell do I process that and not just sit in it and reek of dark energy for however long it takes for me to get over? Yeah, because I try to get over my feelings and not through them. Yeah, I would call that strange, but I don't want to make fun of that process. I don't want to label that process in a way. It's just kind of what it is. It just is. It is what it is. It just is. So when it comes to me feeling, I can truly say I'm feeling and I'm noting things and I'm shifting things slowly. My whole process has been so on time. I'm gonna call it on time. I would say that it's slow. And I would say that it's slow because myself and others have not been amused, relieved, satisfied with the time that it's taking to change. But I would say now, especially with how much I'm showing up for myself, because I write to myself every day, I talk to myself every day. I don't think that shit is weird. I do it. I need to do it so I'm okay. Processing different things, actually talking to my damn self about what's going on in my day and showing up for that every day, but also writing creatively to translate with words how exactly I'm feeling, comparing different events or different words, different things to what it is I'm feeling. Me showing up for that every day has made me less of a stranger to myself. And I am so happy with that. I feel less of a void. I feel like I'm not in the void. I'm doing better. And I'm also doing worse. But I'm doing better because I'm not, for one, I'm not concealing that I'm not doing good. I'm not trying to act like I'm not doing good for someone else's sake. And I'm also getting rid of the idea that I'm not gonna be liked because I'm not happy or I'm not doing okay, which was something that I hyper focused on even when I was around people who I'd like to assume would be okay with me not actually being okay. I still was very insecure about that, about my state of being, just knowing that I'm not, my baseline emotion is not happiness, or it's not. My baseline emotion, honestly, at this point in time is ever changing. But for a very, 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 very long time, my baseline emotion, the emotion that you'll likely see on my face, to an extent I would call it numb, but I know that whatever that it was not happiness, it was not joy. Like, the best way that I can explain it is that it's just like a weight, a heavy weight, negative weight. And does that make sense, like, mathematically? No. But a heavy weight. A cloudy day. And not rain clouds over me, but clouds. That is so nice. But clouds. That's the best. That's how I'm going to describe that. I will get better at describing that at a later time. This is not the time, and what I'm saying now is completely fine. But yes, that was something that I'm not okay with. Not really okay with. But what I see is I'm getting better. I'm doing better at showing up. Literally showing up. Showing up has everything to do with action. Like, do something. Maybe that's what the stranger in me does well. Maybe that's a strength of the stranger in me. That's not a stranger, it's just me accepting another part of me as my whole, and I'm just on my little wave, and I'm high, I'm low, I'm in between the in-between and the high, and I'm in between the in-between and the low. Like, I'm just, and I'm okay with that. I hope for people to get okay with that. It's not really comfortable though, but I'm sure people already know that. People already know how uncomfortable it is to be themselves. I would argue that it's especially uncomfortable being yourself when you have your past, you have your future, and then you have society around you. You don't have to have 1,000 people around you physically, but virtually, since you have so much access to that, I'd argue it's difficult. So I hope that everybody else can move through the stranger. I think it's really necessary. At this point in time, in my present, it's extremely necessary for me to accept the stranger in me. The lines aren't blurred between this me and that me. I'm just me. I also hope people come to that conclusion of being that way of being. I love to see when people come to that way of being. I feel that I've seen it with someone that's closest to me, or was closest to me, I should say. like watching that. And although, for me it was hard to watch, or as I reflect on it, it's complex. It's not hard. It's complex to think about when you think about the fact, or when I think about the fact that I was stagnant, but I watched someone blossom in a sense, and it was really nice. So I said, I didn't say this, but it's like, tag me in, like, I'm next. Or I just am. And that's just that. Yeah, that's it.